reaching out, helping rescues, starting rescues, and getting these dogs out of the pound?
Now, in my community, there are some, and this wiki would allow me to help spread the word about that. We do have a humane society. I think it's fairly well run. I'd have to go back and look. At one time, it was fairly well run, and the people involved were quite honorable people. I've gotten all my pets from this humane society. Now, your passion is pets. I'm passionate about pets as well. I have been working on this. I really, going to be honest, we do probably have a dog pound, and the people who are like you and who are experienced in a lot of that, this could go on the wiki site as well, because I haven't taken the time to get down there and investigate as to what they're doing and how they're doing it. I did take the time to look into the Humane Society, and I was truly, truly unhappy with what I found about the RFID chips. In Central Ohio, Ohio State University convinced the Capital Area Humane Society, and Ohio State University supplies these chips, convinced the Capital Area Humane Society to chip every pet that comes in. And when I called over there, I said, "Are you kidding me? When did that happen?" "Oh, well, they must have gotten some grant, because I don't think Ohio State University gives away money for nothing." And OSU just doing that for us, you know, they did this, they provide all these, and so we chipped all these pets. And I said, "Have you investigated the possibility that these chips could cause cancer?" "Oh, well, OSU wouldn't do it if these chips cause cancer." I'm like, oh, here we go, right? Here we go again. So, you may believe in the chipping of pets. I personally don't, but I think it's dangerous, and I think they cause cancer. So
I don't even let my dogs outside when they're spraying chemtrails. My dogs go out, go to the bathroom, and they come back in. I'm very protective. There's no way that I would allow my dogs to get chipped. And there's many problems that go under that umbrella that then goes back into bureaucracy, and I think we should just avoid that for now, because what my goal is to reach the people that want to contribute to our new world, that want to get off the couch and make a difference. And these are great ideas that empower us, get us off of depression, like I said, and actually make the changes that we've always dreamed of. As far as dealing with lawyers and government agencies, leave that to the people that are qualified to do that and in the position. And like I said, we're so close to something happening that we need to be careful and wise about what we discuss. And instead of talking about the negativity all the time, start talking about the solutions.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree. And so when you said that, there might be people, although, who might feel like they want to take that on. And I probably would say, well, good luck if you think you can make a change there. That's kind of what I like about empowering people. If somebody feels empowered enough to want to make a difference, all I'm doing is setting up a wiki site. Now, in my own community, I would be careful about not discouraging people who have passions that they want to pursue that will bring things into a better place. They may not succeed, but I like the idea of people trying, don't you? I like the idea of people trying.
And I want to tell you something that my community started doing is that they started having car washes and garage sales and stuff, raising money, and then taking that money and putting half the deposit down on the dogs in the pound. And so people can go in and adopt a dog at half price, because there's so much other medical that's involved. But if the manager of the pound knows that these dogs, and what they do is they'll actually get behind you and they'll put tags up that say special adoption and what have you, and we have other people that go in and actually work with the dogs and start training them so that when they do meet a potential new family, they're already acclimated to working with a human, and you're building trust. And other things that you can do as well is going into stores that have sales. I always go to Big Lots, and they'll have like cow hooves. You can get 10 of them for $3. So I'll buy a bunch of them, and then I take them down to the shelter so that the dogs get treats. And I notice now when I go, there will be 3 or 4 other people there. So the dogs are getting a lot of attention. They're not being food aggressive. They're getting more pets, more attention. And we adopted out 77 dogs in 4 days.
Wow, that's great. I love that. And in some communities...
So it's something... I'm sorry, but it's something you can do. You know, it's just so simple, and you feel great about it when you go home, or you meet somebody on the street and they're like, "Hey, did you know?" Or you'll find somebody that actually adopted one of those animals, and they'll say, "Thank you. You know, this is the love of my life, and you saved me as well as my dog or my cat. How wonderful is this?"
Well, and you're explaining something that is a little more complex, but I see how this could work as well. Okay, so you got your wiki, Let's Go Local. You've got a lot of great things to offer. It might be that somebody like you, who has a lot of experience in this and a lot of success in this, might want in this a local animal page, your own wiki, so that all of the people who share this passion and want this to be part of their life, you could have your own one, and we could link back to it on the county project. Do you see what I'm saying? So that you wouldn't be limited in space or design or anything. You know, you live in this county, you're concerned about pets, here's our pet page. Go to this site, and you'll find wonderful things that are going on. It's the growth possibilities here are just astounding. It kind of...
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Is there anything for builders? I know that with the housing crisis, a lot of builders are out of work, and some of them are carpenters. They're extremely talented men, women too now, and they do tile work. Is there some kind of projects that you know of where home builders, electricians, tile people can get involved, and is there something for them?
Well, there could be. There could be a directory, but generally a lot of people use, Angie's List. You know, a lot of people use Angie's List if they're looking to hire a local contractor. But at the same time, you could set a page, a wiki page here for local talent. You could call it, you know, and allow these people to put their little resumes and what they do up there, or link to another page where let's just say we've got a lot of people who are out of business. Now, we do have Craigslist. There are other ways that people have of communicating their availability. Again, that's why this is so personal. That's why there's not going to be one size fits all, because, you know, you can tell me what's going on with the local builders in your area, and someone else will say something else is going on, and that's the nice thing is people sit around and say, well, she's not talking about my town. You know, she doesn't have anything for me because that's not how things work here. Well, this gives you the chance to say, how do things work where you're living? What are the buildings? What do they need?
Also, if somebody's working, I could see where, like, you could start a community daycare or something like that where the moms take turns or they help out. And I think Deatra was talking about that she did something like that in her area where actually the moms got together and were teaching school. They opened up their own school.
What a great idea.
That basically, mine all started when I got fed up with my granddaughter and her kindergarten class and I pulled her out halfway through the school year, within about 3 months, I had 9 kids that I was homeschooling, and found other parents through networking who were also homeschooling. And pretty soon it just kind of, okay, now we've got, let's see, this person who is an actual educator, who's saying, look, if we can start a school, I'll come in and teach. Everybody's volunteer. The school is will be run on donations only. They're not requiring the mandatory immunizations like the public schools do. And even I get to teach history. And so, and it all started because I had a big mouth and I didn't like what was being taught to my granddaughter in school.
That's wonderful. That's just fabulous. And for you to have a way to share that experience, Teatra, I need to put on this wiki thing local schools and let you put a story about how you address that, because on the generic one, which is what we're talking about right now, I have one for Franklin County, but we're talking about the generic one. Those kind of stories are inspiring and give people ideas that they might not have had.
Yeah, I can write up something for it. But yeah, I mean, like I say, it with my granddaughter, it initially started the first 2 weeks of school with our political views differed from what they were already teaching. Beginning, my granddaughter, since we come from such a long line of military, she's very, very patriotic, and she believed in the pledge and all of that because that's what we had learned prior to learning the truth about that. But she had called her teacher the first day of school, and she said, Miss So-and-so, tomorrow when we say the Pledge of Allegiance, can you please not be playing around with papers and show some respect? That didn't go over well. Then it was about 2 weeks later, they were taking the kids on a tour of the school where there was a big portrait of Mr. Obama in the hallway. And my granddaughter, she raises her hand and she says, excuse me, I have to call my grandma. And I'm like, well, why do you have to call your grandma? She says, because in our home, we do not recognize Mr. Obama as our president. And from that time on, the school was a literal hell for her.
Wow. Well, I know that, Teatra, I mentioned Obama was on, and pretty much I think all these politicians on national TV just, they go out and they read this script. They just talk spin, So I'm teaching my grandchildren how to mute commercials. They're getting pretty good at it.
Yep.
So Obama came across the screen, and I said, hit the mute button. And they looked at me like, why do you want us to do that? That's the president. And I was really surprised. So I just said, look, all these people who are politicians on TV, they generally just tell you what they want you to hear, and they don't tell you what's really going on. And this has been going on for a very long time.
I so commend you for doing that, but at the same time, I find it amusing that you said your kids looked at you like, about Mr.
Well, that's because they've been
Obama.
Indoctrinated.
Oh, I know they have. Yeah, my granddaughter, she'll sit there, she'll see him flash across the screen, and if I even so much as glance at it, she'll say, Grandma, we're not watching that garbage. So it's just really, I just find it a little bit amusing, how people will sit there and they're like, what? And then I got this little girl that's not even 7 yet that's just so into the truth. And she picked things out about him that I never even thought of.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, and then when I thought about her statements, I was really impressed.
Yeah. It's going on in school.
Yes.
Tell your pig story.
Oh, you mean what I'm doing with my pigs is as I raise up my pigs, I raise one for me and slaughter one for me, but I also raise extra and slaughter for my elderly neighbors. And I do the same with goats and chickens, too.
I think that's great.
And your egg story.
Oh, my eggs! I'm always giving my eggs away. My neighbor, he's got a rototiller, and I don't have one